Welcome to Confessions of a Wife, Mom, and Realtor, the Raw podcast, all about the messy, true lives of working moms in real estate. In this podcast, we talk about the hilarious mishaps and successes that are pretty much guaranteed when it comes to selling real estate while managing a family. I'm your host, Nicole Ward, the boots on the ground toddler mom who swears like a sailor and fails extravagantly, all while running my own real estate business. So grab a juice box and that basket of clean laundry that still needs folded because we're going to jump right in. All right, guys, welcome in. I've got Daniela Morey-Loftin on our call today, and I'm so excited to have you.
Yes, me too.
So for our listeners, I just wanted to get started and give them an opportunity to get to know you a little bit. So tell me a little bit about what you do and where you service and a little bit about your real estate business now.
Okay. So, I service Northeast Ohio, but I really try to focus on Summit County, and then western parts of, Portage County. I'm like, that's my kind of like sweet spot, like I'm happy to go elsewhere, but especially with buyers, I always give them the heads up, like, hey, I can help you out in Beechwood,
right?
But I'm not a pro over there. Like, I
Sure.
don't know the neighborhoods. I don't know, where the schools are,
Right.
So I give them the opportunity to see if they're comfortable with that. And if not, I happily refer. That has become my go-to as a mom, a trick, just
Sure.
refer, because
limited time. We've got limited time.
Sitting in a car, getting in traffic for daily showings, no way. That's not me. So, and I want my buyers to refer me down the line.
Right.
So I want them to feel like I knew what I was doing. I was confident in everything I told them. They were made aware of everything that could happen, could go wrong, whatever. So I want to be a pro in the area. So I really try to just focus on north of kind of like Akron, West Akron area,
Sure.
up to, like Southern Cuyahoga, like Solon's really like the most north I will go. So,
Okay.
So I live in Macedonia now, which is Nordonia Hills area.
Okay.
And that's northern tip of Summit County. So I am right here. I've lived though in Kent, Stowe, Cuyahoga Falls. So I really know and love the area. I help buyers and sellers. Of course, sellers are my thing right now.
Right. We all love sellers right now.
It's what we all love and want, but in low inventory, it's hard to have all those sellers. So we're all running buyers around still too. And yeah, I was manager for a while of an office, left that. Now I'm more just full-time real estate, juggling being a mom of a 4-year-old. She's 5 in August. Dog, new wife. We're 9 years now, but, new wife. We just finally got married last fall. So.
I saw the pictures. Didn't you get married in California?
No, we went to the Valley of Fire outside of Vegas.
That's right. I remember seeing the pictures. That was a really, really cool wedding picture thing.
I needed something that could fit into this life of ours and, a weekend getaway, but somewhere cool that family would like to visit, not just like, hey, go meet us at this fly into this random place.
Right.
Everyone's always up for Vegas. So
sure. No, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. So how many, I know you said you were a manager for a while. I do know that. I remember that. Now that you're back into like full-time real estate, what would you say on your own? How many transactions would you say that you do a year or that you plan on doing this year on your own?
Well, the goal is for this year, 10 million, but I think I'm going to change the goal to like 7 million. I've done 7 before, so I know it's attainable. It's just, I left management in January and I was at a company. So I knew ahead of time that I was going to be leaving. So I'm not a person to leave a company with transactions pending. Like I can't do that. Cause again, my clients are my family. Like I never want to just be like, hey, they're going to take care of you. Peace out. So I kind of stopped my business from November of last year, made the switch January because I thought, well, I'm going to enjoy the holidays with no business.
Right. That's smart.
1 year, we've never experienced that. So did that January, I made the switch. And then I felt like I was literally starting from the bottom. Like I felt like wow, I killed my business. Now I needed to get going. I had a lot of buyers, but it was during a time when no one can win offers. We were
Right.
all, writing crazy things. Buyers were burnt out. Sellers wouldn't sell because they knew that they weren't going to have a house. So I feel like my first 3 or 4 months was like, this isn't what I expected.
Right. It
So
takes time to rebuild. I mean,
yes, yes,
especially now when you were a manager before, were you allowed to sell real estate while
yes,
managing?
yes, I
Okay.
was. They actually wanted that. So I started as assistant manager 2019, became manager like 2020, right after COVID hit, kind of.
Perfect
Um,
timing for you.
exactly. When it happened though, I thought, well, this could be perfect because we don't know what's going to happen in the market. Like, I think
Right.
everyone was so scared because everything was like shutting down and we all thought everyone was going to lose their job. So I thought, this is perfect. I'll have a salary in case business people can't buy houses right now. Like, I'll still be
Right.
able to coach and do that stuff, but I won't have to worry about business. And then I was the busiest I've ever been. So
Of course, that's the way it works
yeah,
out when you
yeah.
least expect it. It just happens and hits you.
Yeah. Yes. So that I still was full time and I probably did more than I wanted to because again, taking on manager role, I wanted to be the best manager I could be too. So
Right.
I was burning both sides of the candlestick, like they say. Like I had no family life, no home life, working with my clients all day, every day, still having to do trainings and recruiting and be at all of my agents beck and call all night when they're writing offers late at night. So yeah, probably not a
That's a
good.
lot. So how did you manage? I know you have a 4-year-old, well, 5, I mean, technically
Yeah,
almost. So
yeah.
how did you manage like taking care of her and her household? Did she go to daycare? Like, how did you manage all of that?
That time has become a blur in my life. I really look back and think like I don't know how I did it, and I don't know if I was the best mom I could have been during that time because we all have mom guilt all the time.
Right.
Um, Of course, my husband works more of a regular time job than I do. So he works more of a 8 to 5. So evenings, I was able to count on him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then she did go to a preschool Montessori school. So she did that Monday through Thursdays till 4 p.m. So
Okay.
that was kind of my crunch time. Like when I knew, okay, I have Monday through Thursdays without her, I have to try to do as much as I can during that
I'm
time.
in the same boat right now. Like
Yes,
I've got 2 very small kids
yes,
and they both go to daycare. But they sleep till like 8 and I'm not the type that wants
yeah,
to wake them up. So, we're out the door to daycare by 9:30 and then we have to pick them up at 4:30. So I have 9:30 to 4:30 every day and that's it. And Dan and I
yeah.
are both real estate agents. So I totally
Yeah.
get that. We have to switch on and off and the
I
mom guilt, the mom guilt. Oh,
Mhm. And that's the thing, like, I don't know if dads literally have it. I mean, I'm sure they do. They do. But I think there's a term for mom guilt because it is such like a horrible I think because they come out of us, it's like
right.
I created that thing. That thing ruined my body. That thing.
Have
you
you
know,
seen that TikTok video where he's like, I've created a human. Did you create your own humans? I
no, I
created
haven't.
and I'm their leader.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think just kind of really time management of she's gone. I have 8 hours to do everything I can. And luckily a lot of them were working from home at that time. So a
Right.
lot of them were able to, I'll leave at lunch real quick and go see the house, so a lot of them were able to kind of work with my schedule and they probably had the same situation on their end. Their kids were either working, doing schoolwork from home or they were with a family member and they were able to kind of be flexible and evenings weren't ideal for a lot of people. So
Right.
I still did it at evenings and everything, but yeah.
So
So
how's your life now that you're not managing anymore? You're just selling
yeah,
real estate. I mean, do you
yeah.
feel like you're in a better groove, both as a mom and a business owner?
Again, it took a weird time to transition. Some days I don't know if it was some sort of depression where I'd wake up and I wouldn't really know like, wow, how do I do it all without having to do it anymore? Like you
Right.
kind of have to, and I think a lot of new agents have that struggle of like, okay, how do I get my mindset into being motivated and focused daily?
It's an interesting perspective
Yeah.
because I mean, as a new agent, you don't know what to do. And you
Yeah.
also don't know how to time block as a new agent. And that's
Yeah.
like the most important thing for
Mhm.
us as not only moms, but business owners is we have to time block. And so for you, I mean, that's what it's sounding like to me is what you're saying is that you had to wake up every day and figure out what you're going to do, but you had to actually probably schedule it out and time
Yeah.
block, right?
Yeah. Because with manager, it's like, even if I had nothing personal business wise going on, I knew I should be in the office. I should go think of things for my agents. I should show my face.
Right.
Now I have that, which allowed me to enjoy life again. But in the beginning,
Right.
like, what's my purpose? Like, you almost lose what the whole goal of it all was, because I had to do it for 2.5 years of something else. So then I had to go back to kind of, on my own. I feel like if I created a team and then got rid of the team, it would have that same feeling, of
Right.
like, I've always been in charge of these people and making sure I was motivated and on top. And now I'm back to just a single agent. That's what it really felt like.
So it's been what, 7 months, almost 8 months since you
yeah.
left. So, you went through that period of time where you were in rebuild. Do you feel like you've gotten somewhere at this point? It's July,
Yes.
do you feel like you've gotten somewhere?
Yes. Thank God. It's finally, I feel like my hard work is finally paid off. Like, all of a sudden it just clicked out of nowhere. And they always say that, like, you
It always happens that way.
yes. And I mean, the whole time I really was prospecting. I was still going to sellers' houses, telling them how to prepare their house, but it just kept being, okay, when we're ready, maybe in 6 months, maybe in 5 months. And then they all hit at once, of course. So,
Right.
So everything I was doing in those times of just feeling lost finally came to fruition, and it was worth it all. And now with the market the way it is, like, my buyers are finally, like, a lot of them are getting the houses they want and for great deals,
Finally.
they're getting list price, or they're getting 5,000 under list price,
Or inspections.
with closing costs and repairs. And, some people hate this market now. And I'm like, no, this is the good old days. This is
Right.
when we started. Did you start 2015?
The end. I was January
Okay.
16.
Okay.
So, but I was in, I was actually at the brokerage you're at now, and I was taking one of their new agent courses before I even got licensed. So I was sitting in their classes, like doing all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I still tell people, cause I feel like I'm going to sound like an old person that's like the good old days.
Right.
But when I started in 15, like, there was so much opportunity. Now people think there's so much opportunity because there's so many buyers. There's, it's like, yes, but back then I could easily, if I could get a buyer, I could get them a house right away. Like,
yes,
it was, if you were motivated, your business grew so quickly.
Less showings, less offers, maybe only writing 1 or 2 offers, less deals, falling apart. Instead of 50 showings, 10 offers, or after all of that, a buyer saying, we're just going to wait. I mean, that's what the last year and 2 have been. So I agree with you. I mean, that first or second year in real estate, it was much more even, a plateaued, even market. And I quite enjoyed that. And I'm excited too for the shift. I mean, we're in a shift. Have you read Gary Keller's Shift book?
But, we're doing some like meetings on the book. So we're kind of like tackling a topic each time. So, I mean, it's perfect timing, everything.
Absolutely.
Feels like it's all coming back around. And I know the market's cyclical and, it was bound to happen, but I feel bad for the agents that started during the craziness. Cause I feel like a lot of them are like, I don't have any showings on my listing. What's going on? It's like, that used to be normal.
Right. It used to actually take some time.
You had to market it. You had to go door knock. You had, like, I love that stuff though. It makes me feel like a realtor versus just like, okay, another house popped up. Let's go tomorrow. Let's go, like writing a
zombie.
Like, how do I show my worth more than just, okay, boom, boom, boom. It's more like, I'm going to do all of this for you. This is going to be the timeline. This is what it's going to be. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to jump back a little bit. So you had already been a real estate agent working and growing a business before you had your daughter, correct?
Yep.
So what were those first few months, new mom, a lot of us, I know I did struggled with a little postpartum depression after I had my firstborn. And
Yep.
like, what was those first few months and that first year like after you had your baby and you were running a business?
Yeah. So I started 15, I think it was like April. And I feel like I didn't really start till summer though, because when I was at Howard Hanna, we had to do like like you had to pass like 30, 60, or 90 days worth of classes. Like you just had to
Sure.
go back to back and you had to graduate. So from that point on, so I really had like probably 2 full years before my daughter came. So the first full year was figuring everything out, getting my standing. And then once I found out I was pregnant, that was December 2016. Found out I was pregnant and I was so scared. I
Right.
thought, because I'm fresh out of college too. I mean, I'm a year out of it. I had no money. I mean, I had sold houses, but you got to live, like I was still paying all my bills, my rent, my car. So I had nothing really saved. So I had some friends who I knew who had kids who had like horrible pregnancies. Like,
Oh, geez.
like they either were bedridden the whole time
Right.
or, once they had their kid, they had complications, like, so in my head, I was thinking the worst again, kind of like the murder podcast that we talked about, like
Right.
just always thinking of like worst case scenario. So, I think in my head though, that causes me stress, but then it kind of makes me think a lot further of like, what can I do to make myself feel better about the situation? So I got up and just like worked the hardest I had in that whole time,
Mhm.
since I started the business. So I thought, okay, this is my goal. I'm going to sell as much as I can, save as much as I can. That way, if anything happens, I at least have some money, ready to go,
Right.
to hold me off.
And how'd that work
So
out?
so my first trimester, I was so nauseous, so sick, and I
Mhm.
hid my pregnancy till I was 14 weeks.
Wow, good
So
for you. And you're not a big girl like me where it'd be easy to hide. Like,
I'm tall though. So
you
it
are
like,
tall.
and then I found out in winter. So coats, big shirts was the thing.
Nice.
So I hid it, but then I was so nauseous. I remember being in office meetings and having to like run to the bathroom and throw
Oh
up real
man.
quick and then come out and act like I was normal.
Did you keep a toothbrush with you? Tell me you did.
Yeah, I did. I did. I had that. And then I used to go to work with lemons, and raw lemons was the only thing I could eat to help my stomach.
Wow, I've never heard that before.
I tried the ginger chews, the candies, everything. Nothing worked. So I would sit in our meetings with peeled lemons, just eating them. And they were so
Okay.
sour. I think because my mind like focused on the sour versus how I felt. And it was the only like refreshing thing. So I did all that, was miserable because you're hiding something and you're
Right.
scared as shit about what's going to happen to you. And then you're starting a new business. So I did all that. Finally told, after the first trimester though, I feel like it was a breeze, a walk in the park. Like
Right.
I worked until my due date and I wore heels the whole time, like huge ones. Like I used to wear the like 3 to 5 inch heels every day. That's
Oh
what,
my gosh. So how
and
many deals did you do then between like after the
I
sickness
I have
and
no clue about the number of deals. I mean, it was my second full year. I probably did like 2.5 million, like,
that's
so,
good. That's
and that
about 80,000 GCI if you
Yeah,
look
so
at
that was only like till she was born in like August, because I
right.
really didn't do anything the rest of the year once she came.
Right.
So I worked till my due date, and my mom flew in, and my mom's a realtor too in California. So
Oh.
yeah, so she came in and because it was the week of the birth. So she's like, okay, I'll come in, I'll help you. And I was still going out to showings. And my mom's like, Daniela, this has to stop. Like, what if you're at a showing and your water breaks? What are you going to do? I'm like, well, I'm going to find paper towels and clean it. And then I'm going to leave a note. Like, I don't. So I worked till my due date. And then I agreed with my mom and I said, okay, you're right. Like, this is a little crazy. So then I took a step back. But the whole first half or whatever was great until August, till she was born. And then the second half was very hard, mentally, physically, everything. I feel like I had a very hard time healing, which
Mhm.
from the moms out there, about the complications that could come from having a kid. Yeah, I'm not going to get there unless you want
Both
me to.
mentally and physically is what you're saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, I
And so
gotcha.
physically, I just felt like, okay, I was in pain the whole time for like weeks after. I remember I went to my 14-week checkup where the doctor was going to give me like the clear to exercise. I still wasn't cleared after that. Like
Gotcha.
he checked me and I still was healing and it was just taking a long time. So the pain, and then I tried to do breastfeeding. And I was like one that told myself I was gonna do it. This is the
Right.
natural way. This is the way it's supposed to be. So I think I ended up hurting my daughter the first few months because I wasn't producing a ton of milk. But so every appointment we went to, she lost weight every time. And everyone around me was like, just go to formula. So there's all the mom guilt of that, of like, wow, am I hurting my daughter? Am I doing the best thing for them? The pain I was in, and then mental, because my business, I had to kind of kill it. I had no help. I don't even have my family here. His
Right.
family works full time. Like there's no elderly people that are stay at home, like retired, nothing like that. So I had to do all that. So I got kind of depressed about that. And then, you're in pajamas all day, a huge t-shirt looking disgusting. And then your husband comes home dressed up in slacks and a dress shirt. And you're like,
and I'm just going to throw a caveat out there. Daniela's husband, he's a good looking guy. Props to you. He's a good looking guy. If you see him walking down the street, he would be the type of guy where you'd be like, you would appreciate looking at him. Yes.
I mean, he's like he cares more about his appearance than I do, like.
Oh, my husband's the same way. He takes way more time to get ready than me.
A nice watch every time. Like me, I'm like, well, you're lucky if I put my ring on, my wedding ring. Like that's about it. So yeah. So I just felt like shit, just being like, wow, I'm just a slug on a rug, like with my baby all day. And my thing was to go to a Target. I swear I would like put yoga pants on and like brush my hair and go to Target every day with the baby. I stuck her in her carrier in the cart and she'd fall asleep immediately.
And you just got to window shop.
Yes. And I would just walk around and, my husband finally said like, are we going to go broke? Like, what's going on? What are you buying? Nothing. If anything, I brought like, some formula or, but all it was that I needed to be around adults.
Right.
And not all day. And I needed someone to interact with and potentially like put lip gloss on and not feel disgusting. I took a shower for that. And that was like the greatest thing. So
when did it start to shift for you? Like, out of they call it the fourth trimester, right? After you have your baby, you go through that fourth trimester and you go through that and you still have a business and you let it go. And it sounds like I'm seeing a pattern where you have these incredible life moments where you do something great, but then you have the lulls that we all experience where you let it drop down. So when did it, can you pinpoint the pickup?
So during that time, I still would have some business. Like I remember, again, probably going to be like too candid, but I remember I went to a home inspection probably 5 days after I was home, still bleeding.
Oh boy.
We know that. I had to go to the home inspection and I took my newborn, 5 days old, and I just sat there and, so like I made it work when I had to.
Right.
I just wasn't trying. And, at that point it's like, oh, my friends would call me or, past clients would refer me. Happily do it all. But I think I probably should have taken more time off mentally, I rushed it too much. Business probably picked back up. I switched companies again too at that point. So that was kind of like a double whammy. That was my first time ever switching a company though. So I thought that was going to be the end all be all. Like, oh, that's going to fix everything I'm going through.
That's what everyone thinks. They think that switching a company is going to fix their business, but truly, and I think you would agree with me when I say this, that us as agents, we can be successful no matter where you hang your license. Right.
Yes. So I switched because that was my first time. You think there's better out there. Realistically, it was probably money though. I was getting paid a very low amount of my money.
Traditional brokerage style cut.
I had no monthly fees. No, I had transaction fees though. And I was getting a low percentage. So for someone whose business is picking up, you want to finally make money. And I thought I can't have a baby and like be struggling deal to deal anymore. I need a company that will pay me more per deal and just find a good fit. So I switched. And again, it was hard adjusting to being a mom, wanting to prove yourself at a new company. That's probably one of those huge mental things. And again, I experienced that this year. It's like I switched. They know what I can do, and I'm not proving it. I'm not living up to my name.
I hear you. I disagree with you, but I hear you. I hear the mental block there, but I don't think that you have anyone to prove to anybody but yourself.
That's I don't know if it's like the fact that I'm a Virgo or, like I don't know. I'm a person that no matter what, I have to continually perform. And if I'm not living up to what I know I can do. And then I feel like everyone is disappointed around me. And I don't, but I think no one even notices. It's just something I have within me, like yesterday, he told me about a number his company hit or like his group hit, and he was really proud. And and he stuck his hand out, and I gave him knuckles, and then I continued with another story. And he's just like, that's really all you're going to give me. And in my head, I'm like, and I told him, I'm like, that's what we expect from each other. Like, I don't know what else you want from me.
Poor guy. You're hurting his feelings.
I know, but like that's because that's the expectations I have on myself all the time. Right. So like, I honestly, this year, I haven't even looked at what I've closed. Nothing. It's like I'm trying to turn a new leaf and not focus on that and focus more on like
the actions and productivity versus results.
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
That's how I focus on everything. I stopped looking at, what the results are and started looking at the actions behind it. And I've also learned something really important this year. I don't know if it resonates with you, that if you act with authenticity and kindness in everything you do, and your goal is to more help people, the rest of it naturally comes. The commissions, the paychecks, all of that, that comes naturally if you are investing the true you into your people.
Yeah.
So, and it's helped me.
And that's what brings them back and them, referring. And that's what my business is. I don't pay for any leads. I don't do anything. It's just being genuine with them and, showing them the hard thing, showing, and sometimes I'll meet a buyer and I always have like a buyer consultation as long as we have the chance. If it's like, well, I just met you, but I want to see this house tomorrow, we probably don't get that. But when I talk with them, I tell them, hey, so I check everything ahead of time, like even before we go drive, because in the beginning, you'll probably agree with this. We jump and run every time there's a house.
Oh my gosh, potential sale. Like, I'm on the road.
Yeah. I'll drive an hour away and it's right next to a mechanic shop. Great. Now we don't even want to go inside. Like, I did that too much, wasted my time, wasted clients' time, whatever. I check everything I can prior. Like, I'm like, I check the aerial. I want to make sure the location's fine. It's not on a busy street. The disclosures, I check the broker's remarks, the flood zones, like everything.
Right.
Usually I send them a text of like, this is everything bad about the house. Do you still want to see it? And
I'm at the same boat. I'm like, this doesn't fit what you told me you wanted. So I really don't want to go see it unless you're sure with all of this. Yeah,
exactly. So I let them make the decision. Sometimes they still want to see it. Okay, fine. But now you can't say I wasted your time because I did what I was supposed to do. So, I tell them that. And, I feel like, especially this market where we kept losing houses or just, it wasn't the right house. They were getting, their emotions hurt about everything. And I'm like, hey, my goal is to have you get into the house that you chose and love everything I did for you. Wow. Daniela was honest. She prepared us for the AC potentially failing in a year. She prepared us for a sump pump that could fail or, I want all of that because I want them to come back and rave about me and send me their clients.
You want the referrals. I mean, the referrals are the best business because there's already trust there and you don't have to try and run the hamster wheel of, I need you to trust me. I need you to like me. It's just there. So I agree.
And
I totally agree.
As a mom, I cannot, I have a private Facebook group for my past clients.
Me too.
Okay. So I will do like a monthly shout out for anyone who has referred me and say like, hey, even if I haven't been called from them, like if I get one client who says, hey, I just gave your number to Tracy Smith. She wants to buy, she may reach out. Great. That's going to be me now thanking you for even just spreading my name.
So you are rewarding. I love this. I talk about this all the time. I'm so happy you said it. So you are rewarding the behavior, not the results. And that's how you get more referrals.
Yes. It's not their fault if the person didn't call.
Right.
But they did. They already raved about me. They gave me my number, whatever. if that person has an aunt who is a realtor who they choose to use, that's not on them,
Right.
So I will do like a post where I thank them, tag them all for the referrals they sent me. And then I send them a Starbucks gift card of just a
Perfect.
small one, nothing huge. It's like, this coffee's on me. Thanks for thinking of me. If the deal closes or I get them something else. But, I also put in that post though, for like anyone who hasn't referred me, or maybe it's just been a while. I'm like, hey, by the way, like every time you guys do this, you're helping my business grow, but you're also helping me have a safe career,
That's a really good thought. I like that.
yeah,
That's a good idea. I
this
might do that
business,
too.
yeah. I tell them, I'm like, I'm not someone who meets random strangers, like for the safety of my family, I go off of just referrals. And so I think they understand that, especially all the moms. I have a lot of moms as past clients. They understand that and, want to help me too.
That's appreciative. I'm glad that you have a circle around you, a referral circle around you that understands that and appreciates that about you. So what advice would you give? And this is going to be my last question, but what advice would you give in a nutshell to an agent who is also a mom and might be pulling their hair out with stress right now? Like one piece of advice. I know there's a lot, but just one.
I would say, I don't know, it's hard because I feel like I have two.
Okay, say both of them. Go ahead.
Okay. First one is obviously work when they're not with you, like especially, and plan out that time, like we talked about. Like
time blocking.
If I have 9 to 2, 2 days a week, 9 to 2 is going to be my most productive time of the week. I'm going to have to do it beyond that, but 9 to 2 is when I can knock out all the paperwork, all the client follow-ups.
Excellent advice. So true. I concur to the listeners who are listening. I concur.
Second, I feel like a lot of my non-happiness with this business came because I didn't make time for myself and my family. So there's always you can keep growing and growing and growing and growing and hit that unlimited commission. But it's kind of when you take the step back and say well, what's it all for if I'm not enjoying it?
Absolutely.
So, I had my salary, my best years when I was manager, but I wasn't enjoying it. I was gaining weight. I was unhealthy. I joke around my house that it's funny, the more my wallet grows, the more my waist grows. And
hey,
I'm not taking care of myself physically, mentally, because I'm not giving myself a break. And then I'm not enjoying my husband. We're not going on vacations. We're not doing anything like that. So I finally took a step back, quit the management role because I knew my sanity was worth more than that.
And your family was worth more than that. You needed to get that back. Like all that mom guilt you were talking about and all those the time that you were giving up. I agree with you.
Now we go on vacation and I'm like, okay, I get to enjoy them one-on-one.
Right.
Yes. That's when, of course, our business is the craziest.
Of course.
Now I also delegate. That helps give you that time, find the people who will help you, help them when the time comes, refer, pay someone to sit at an inspection,
oh, for sure.
Your mom time is not, it's worth more than that.
100%. I totally agree with you. And I appreciate that input. And I think that that's something that a lot of us moms need to remember is that you do need to give yourself a break, and giving yourself a break doesn't mean not working in real estate and focusing on your kids. Sometimes it just means taking some time for yourself. If that's going to get your nails done, going to get a massage or taking a hike around a lake by yourself, and also spending time with your kids. That there is a way to do it. Lots of agents do it, and time blocking out your business so that you can, work to live and not live to work.
Oh yeah. Right? I mean, and I think too, always keep in mind, it's always a struggle though. Like no matter, I'm sure you feel that way. It's like, you can do everything planned. Nothing goes as planned though.
Never. And I always look a hot mess, and I am most of the time, 90% of the time, I don't even want to leave my house because I know I look like complete poo-poo, but it is.
But in the end, you attract your vibe. And if if you get the moms who have, wear their hair up and hey, this is what it is. Yep, this is what it is too. We're perfect for each other.
It's true. And it does happen. And I would say that those are the people that I resonate with the most, are the people that can just be themselves and be accepted because they know that life is a shit show all the time for us.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
if anybody wants to reach out to you or get a hold of you for any reason, how would they go about doing that?
I do a lot more on like my Facebook page. So it's facebook.com/sell with Daniela. And then second, shoot me a text or call at 330-328-2020.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And stay tuned for next week's episode. It's going to be really good. Thanks, Daniela. And I will catch you guys all later.
Bye.
Hey, mamas. Thanks for tuning in to Confessions of a Wife, Mom, and Realtor. If you liked today's confession, make sure you subscribe to hear more juicy stories from other realtor moms like you. See you next week.